as EurILCA has advertised, this is an introduction to team racing. I see so many people from all over the world here, and I would like to welcome everyone to this meeting. So what we will do today is exactly what has been advertised. We will give an introduction on what is team racing, especially given the upcoming European Championship that will be held in Athens in the beginning of December. So with no further ado, let's start the meeting. And I would like to give the microphone to Virginia to make an announcement. So Virginia, please.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to our online seminar, Introduction to Team Racing. My name is Virginia Grevariotti. I'm a bronze Olympic medalist in sailing, having participated in 2 Olympic Games, Athens 2004 in Euro class and Beijing 2008 in the England class. And I have the honor of serving as team racing coordinator for EurILCA and be president also of Hellenic ILCA Class Association that co-organizing the webinar. On behalf of our president, Mr. Jean-Luc Michon, I'd like to convey his warm greeting and his declaration of full support for today's initiative and for team racing. I would also like to extend my warm thanks to our Vice President, Mr. Zlatko Zakelit, for his support and for being with us today. My sincere thanks to Kouris, international judge, for organizing today's seminar, which makes this meeting possible. The aim of today's seminar is to provide you with an introduction to the world of team racing, to understand the basic rules, strategies, and the importance of teamwork within sailing. This event is organized in anticipation of the European Team Racing Championship, which will take place in Athens at the Yacht Club of Greece from December 3rd to 7th of 2025. The same event will take place again in early December of 2026, with further announcements to follow. Thank you very much for your participation. I hope this seminar inspires you, provides useful knowledge, and strengthens your passion for team racing. Thank you.
Thank you, Virginia, very much. So let's start with the presentation. Super. So as we said, this is an introduction to team racing, which is related to the upcoming Team Racing European Championship that will be held in 2 weeks' time in Athens. So what we will cover today is not everything. It's not a detailed presentation on team racing. It's not a detailed presentation on the rules. It's not a detailed presentation on the team racing strategies. This is not the place to do a detailed presentation. So we will cover the fundamental of team racing. So what we will cover is the game of team racing, and specifically what is team racing, why to choose team racing, the formats of team racing, the courses, and the scoring. Then we will discuss some basic strategies and the goals in team racing and how to win, giving a big focus on the combination, especially in team racing with 4 against 4 boats, which is the format that we will use in the European Championship. And finally, we will discuss a little bit about the team racing rules. I will not go into details about all those rules and their application. This is up to the coaches and to the umpires in your countries to teach you the rules, not this webinar. So what is team racing? Team racing is nothing else than a variation on fleet racing, which is way, way more exciting. Team racing develops specific skills in both handling and maneuvering, especially close maneuvering, because the course is very short. The antagonism and the fight is high and big, and it's fast-paced. So you have to depend on excellent boat handling and tactical decision-making in order to win the race. Furthermore, it demands a good understanding on the rules and their application, which will be applied at all times during racing in your advantage. The better you know the rules, the better it is for your team. The better you can make good tactical decisions, the better it is for your team. The better you can handle your boat and your team, because it's a team game in the end, the better it is for your team, and you have more possibilities of winning your race. So team racing uses a various range of courses, formats, boat types, and number of boats. And it's open to all sailors of all ages and all capabilities. We can have team racing from novice level to very advanced and high level. Mainly the main characteristic of team racing is that the courses are very short, so each team has the possibility of race many races, and the competition is very high. You need to build exceptional tactic skills and rule application knowledge throughout the race. You need to focus on your starts, your maneuvers, your tactics, your boat handling. The better you execute everything of those, let's say, things, the better it is for your team. You can use team racing not only for the fun of it, but it's very useful, especially for sailors that they want to practice in a medal race or in fleet racing. You can use the tactics and for sure the boat handling and the skills, and apply them also to fleet racing and normal dinghy racing. With team racing, you develop a great team spirit. Let's not forget that you need to win as a team and not as an individual. Sometimes you can win as an individual and lose the race as a team. So that means that you need to slow down. You need to attack an opponent. You need even to sacrifice your position for the benefit of the team. So it's not only about sailing fast. You have to sail fast when it's needed to sail fast, but you have to be ready to take also to make a sacrifice for the benefit of the team. And in the end, it's a discipline with great fun and a lot of socializing with the sailors, because sailors are all together. The game is very fun, and I think it's one of the best disciplines that we have in sailing. Let's see some formats of team racing that are well known. So there are team racing of 2 against 2 boats, of 3 against 3 boats, and of 4 against 4 boats. A very known example of a 2 versus 2 boats team racing is keelboats team racing events like the 2K Championship. And the key point is that the team with the last boat loses the race. The 3 versus 3 boats team racing is very popular, especially in the UK and in the US, like the Wilson Trophy. You have 21 points to share among the boats, and the rule for winning is 10 points or less for a team. Tactics and position and rule knowledge are key to achieve your goals. And in the end, 4 against 4 team racing events. All the Optimist team racing events are 4 against 4 boats, and the EurILCA European Team Racing Championship will be 4 against 4 boats. So in those races, we have 36 points to share among the boats. So the rule for winning a match is to have 17 points or less. There is a possibility of a tie, which is the case that you have 2 teams tied with 18 points. And in that case, that the tie is resolved in favor of the team without the first place. And in this format, the tactics are even more complicated and more complex than the previous formats, because you have more boats to be careful and to build your tactics around them. So you need major team racing skills to ensure the victory for your team. So the most famous course in team racing is the Digital N course, so-called Digital N course, which is one upwind, a reach, a downwind, another reach, and an upwind to the finishing line, as you can see in the diagram. The race is approximately 8 to 10 minutes long. So as we said before, the races are quite short and quite compact. The boats are very close together at all times. The format is composed by a round robin with continuous racing. So teams are racing all the time and needs to be focused during the whole day, and even more for more than a day during the round robin. Each leg is suitable for different tactics by the team. So there are different traps that you can build on the upwind leg, different traps that you can build on the reach legs, and on the downwind leg. And in the end, you have an exciting finish, an upwind leg, a short upwind leg at the last leg, where many game changes can happen, and a lot of action is ensured for the teams. There are also other courses that can be used. This is the most famous one. But there are also other courses like the box, which is a rectangle. But the course to be used in the upcoming European Championship will be the Digital N course. So the format of the upcoming championship is composed by a round robin where each team will race against every other team. And after the completion of the round robin, the teams will move to the quarterfinal stage. The top 8 teams will qualify for the quarterfinal stage, where the first will race against the 8th team of the round robin, the second against the 7th, the third against the 6th, and the fourth against the 5th. The winners of the quarterfinal matches, which will be the winners of a single match, will move to the semi-final stage, where the highest ranked team in round robin will choose the opponent. And finally, the winners of the semi-final matches will meet in the grand final, where the winner will be the European champions, the team crowned as the European champion. And the losers of the semi-final matches will meet at the petite final to fight for the 3rd place. So pretty much this is a graphical design of a Digital N course from the start to the finish. I can guarantee you that the race is action-packed from the moment of the warning signal until the finish of the race. So it's a great fun and a great pleasure for the sailors that are participating in team racing events. Moving on to some basic team race strategies. So we will discuss some general tactical consideration to make in a team race. We will not dig into details, and we will not discuss about to create those strategies, especially the traps that you can create or the plays that you can choose to play at every time of the race. The race is, as we said many times, is very short and very compressed, so many things may happen in a short period of time. The basic principle is the more a team is trained on various tactical plays, the better is for the team, which is like this. The same applies to all kinds of races. So it's up to the sailors themselves to train as a team and be well prepared for the European Championship. So first of all, there is a tactical understanding in the strategy. So, and that is composed by both maneuvers, so what we can do and what we cannot do, by the rules and how to use them in our advantage. So in order to use them in our advantage, we need to know them, first of all, and then we need to understand how they apply. And finally, the plays. Remember that team race is a tactical game, and as every tactical game, there is a playbook, and there are a lot of plays that you can execute at any time, depending on your race positions and what you want to achieve. The better you can execute those plays, the better are your chances to win your race. The other part of the strategy, which is again very important, are the combination, the winning combination. And we will have a look at what are the winning combinations for 4 against 4 boats later on. So some general tips on strategy. Don't let 2 boats of your team to be controlled only by 1 boat of the other team. So this means that only 1 boat will slow down 2 boats of your team, which is a disaster for you. Do control 2 boats of the other team by 1 boat of your team, but never cover your teammates. This is an absolute must, and you shall avoid it at all times. When you are winning the match, try to spread the fleet. When you are losing the match, try to compress the fleet and bring the boats closer together. In that way, you will be able to execute your play. In order to know if you are winning or losing the match, you need to know at any times what are the winning combinations and what are your actually positions in the race. So know when to sail fast or when to slow down to help the rest of your team or one of your teammates. Communication between teammates is crucial. You are allowed to talk, to give information to the rest of the boats of your team. So use it as much as you can to your advantage. Some examples of communication between the teams is to inform the members of the team about the combination and the position that you are having at every moment. To communicate between the members of the team on the play that you want to execute. To communicate between the members of the team if you need help by another teammate or if you need to attack one or more of the opponents. Then know the play to execute and execute it to perfection. The better you execute the play, more chances you have to win over your opponents. So, as a proverb says, do unto others before they do unto you. So in other words, get them before they get you. This is important. Don't be passive, expecting the opponent to execute their tactics onto your team. You need to be proactive, and at any moment you can execute your tactics to the other team. And finally, know if you are winning or losing at all times. So you don't need to calculate at every second the positions of the boats. Try to have a stable winning combination. For example, if you know that you are in position 1, 2, 3, and whatever position, this is a winner. Or having a 1, 2, and whatever position but not last is also a winner. So as long as you try to fight for the first positions, then most probably you will have a stable winning combination and you are safe. So that means that you know what to do for the rest of the race. And finally, avoid getting penalties. It seems like an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do. There are many, many rules that you can be penalized on. There are many situations that you think that you are infringing, that you are trying to inflict a penalty to your opponent, and in the end you are the one getting the penalty. And if you get a penalty and you are not sure, or there is a situation that you may have broken a rule, remember that it's always better to take a voluntary penalty because it's only one turn, rather to expect from the umpires to penalize you, where the penalty becomes a 2 turns penalty. So if we look through the various phases of the game, from the start until the finish, we will go through some things that may be helpful in order for you to build your strategy and your tactics. Again, I will repeat that the details of your strategy will depend on the team, on the knowledge and how well prepared is the team, on the strengths or the strength of the opponent, how strong or how weak the opponent is, on the preparation of the team, and on many, many other circumstances that I'm not going to talk into detail in this presentation. So remember that the starting sequence is a 3 minutes period. At 3 minutes before the starting signal, the warning signal is given, which is the class flag. 2 minutes before the starting signal, the preparatory signal is given, which is the Papa flag. At 1 minute, the Papa flag goes down, and at 0 is the starting signal. If you are over early, remember that you have 2 minutes to correct your error, and if not, you will be scored OCS. So during the start, try to get the possible start, both individually and as a team, and try to control an opponent. Keep an eye on teammates that may need help during the pre-start sequence. And call for help if you need help. You can use your teammates or other boats to escape some difficult situation. You can use also the race committee vessel to escape from difficult situation. There are a lot of ways to get out of a difficult situation. The more you know how to get out of a difficult situation, the better it is for you. Moving on, there are some things that you don't need to do at the start, and the first one is be over the line early. If you are over the line early, most probably your race is destroyed because you have to return and start correctly. Don't start with a penalty. You will need to do either 1 or 2 turns in order to get rid of the penalty, and this will hurt your teams and probably also your tactics for the remaining of the race. Don't interfere with a teammate start. This is not always as easy as it sounds, but the more you can avoid your teammates and the more you can let your teammates have a good start or sail fast during the race without any dirty air or without being controlled by a teammate, the better it is for the team. The pre-start sequence is a very short sequence. It's not as big as in normal fleet racing, which is 5 minutes. So in 3 minutes and 2 minutes, which is the moment that you start racing, is a very short period of time, and you need to be able to start correctly, start fast, and start as well as you can in order to win the race. Remember that team racing in the end is no different from any other kind of racing. So if you start fast, if you start with a gap to leeward, and if you can control an opponent, then it's better for your team. Well, it's a good thing that in the audience we have one of the best umpires in team racing, and a good friend of mine, and he pointed out that remember that you can do your penalties during the pre-start. So if you get penalized at any time, then you can immediately do your penalties. Remember that first you have to get well clear of other boats, and then you need to take the required amount, the required number of turns in order to get rid of the penalty. Moving on the first beat, and I'm talking as the first beat and not the upwind leg, because the first beat is totally different than the last beat where the party is happening. So during the first beat, right after the start, try to find an opponent that is close to you and behind you, and try to hurt them the most you can. And try to beat the other team to the mark. If you arrive at the windward mark with your teams in 1, 2, 3, then this is a good sign to keep sailing fast for the rest of the race and never look back on what is going on behind you. But be aware that whatever you are trying to do, the opponent is trying to do the same things to you. So in the end, it's a game of who will do the things better and who will execute plays better, and who will sail faster. So first point is sail fast, sail the shifts. It's a sailing race. So those parts are the fundamental of sail racing, and you need to follow them also in team racing. Control your opponents the more you can. The more you can hurt them, the better it is for your team. If one boat of your team can control 2 boats of the opposite team, the better it is for your team. Try to do so in order, as we said before, to arrive at the windward mark in the lead. Keep an eye on teammates that may need help. And if they need help, try to help them to get out of a coverage or of a controlling position by the other team, by the opponents. And at the windward mark, watch for possible traps or set up your trap to the opponent, to the other team. The marks is the place where the more changes in position may happen, and are happening. Is where you can gain a lot of position or lose many positions. So the better you know the traps and what to do, the better it is for your team. how you set up a trap or what are the traps that you may execute at the windward mark. Again, this is an advanced topic, and I think it should be, not I think, it should be dealt by the coaches and by the teams themselves. Always avoid to be controlled by an opponent. So pretty much you don't want to suffer the opposite of what you are trying to do. So you don't want to be controlled by an opponent. If you are controlled by an opponent, either try to get out of this situation or call a teammate of yours for help. Don't interfere with a teammate. It will only hurt your team. And this is let's say, a big help to the opponents, to the other team, without any, let's say, without any effort by them to do something to hurt you. So you are hurting yourselves without any reason. After the first beat, there is a small reach from mark number 1 to mark number 2. Well, this reach is the first moment that we need to know what is the combination of our team. If we have a winning combination, then we sail on trying to keep that combination. If we have a losing combination, then we try to change the game and to reshuffle the cards. So always look back on what is going, know your position, and know what will be your next move. This is one of the legs when you try to improve your team position. Execute the play, the high-low or the pass back, which, again, these are the plays that are up to the coaches to train them with the teams. And the better you execute the play, your chances to improve your team position will be higher. Set up the trap, set your trap at the mark. And by mark, I mean mark number 2, and try to defend the east side at the mark. What you don't need to do is do unnecessary things. For example, don't slow down if you have a stable winning combination. Don't let an opponent get to you before you get to them. As we said before, this game is a game of being proactive. So do to them what you want, or execute your tactics without waiting for them to execute their tactics onto you. And try not to fall into a trap. The best defense against a trap is to trap the boat astern. Well, don't do it if the boat directly astern of you is your teammate. Trap the boat astern when it's an opponent, when it's a boat of the other team and not one of your teammates. At the end of the first reaching leg, most probably a lot of positions will change, especially close to mark number 2. And then it's time for the run. The run is a short leg to a mark to be left to port, which is an invitation to Kouris. This is the mark where usually is, or most probably is, condensed, and the place to set many traps and change the game radically. This is the mark where probably all the boats will arrive together. This is the mark where the starboard boat has a big advantage because of the rules that apply in team racing. And always keep in mind that your opponent is trying to do to you the same things that you are trying to do to them. So in the end, it's a game of who will execute better the tactical maneuvers. So arriving at the run, know your combination. This is something that you need to know, as we said, at all times. It's crucial for your plan and what you need to do for the remaining of the race. If you know your combination, you know if you need to slow down, you know which of your boats in your team needs to slow down, or if you don't need to slow down, you know that you need to sail fast to the finish line and cross the finishing line because you are just winning. Always look back on what is happening around you. Well, you need also to look in front, but to see where are you going, but look back to see the other boats. Keep an eye on what is going around. If your team or your teammates needs any help, and prepare for your approach to the leeward mark. Set your trap at the mark. As I said, this is the mark where a lot of changes in position and in places may happen. You need to set the trap before. The reason why you do that is, as I said before, the starboard boat has a big advantage. I will not go into detail what Rule 18.4 says, but this rule is deleted in team racing. And this gives this is the game changer for team racing. And I think it's a very, very big part of the great fun of this game. However, as in every stage of the race, don't let your opponent get to you before you get to them. And don't fall into the trap. So the trap and what you don't need to fall into is don't get forced to jibe to starboard to avoid an opponent on starboard tack. If you do that, then you will end up rounding the mark in last place. This is a guaranteed loser. So try to find a way either to pass behind them if possible, try to find a way to slow down and let them pass, but try in every way to avoid to jibe to starboard and be controlled by an opponent coming on starboard. It will be a big disaster, both for you individually and your team. Well, on the second reach, I didn't mention it again because pretty much the tactics are the same as the previous reach. So you need to control your opponents. You need to know the combination if you have a winning or a losing combination. Remember that you are approaching at the end of the race, so it's getting even more crucial to understand if you are winning or if you are losing. And then you arrive at the last bit. The last bit is when things can get crazy. Things can get crazy both for competitors, for umpires, for the race committee at the finishing vessel. The last bit can be a mayhem. So what you need to do is always keep your head outside of the boat. You need to understand where you are, where your opponents are, where the rest of your teammates are. In addition, you need to watch where the ley lines are, where the wind shifts are, and all the tactical considerations that you are making in a simple fleet race event. You also need to make those considerations. In that last bit, teamwork is a must. So what you are trying to do is sail fast, sail the shifts, watch the ley lines, especially if you are winning. If you are winning, just sail fast and go to the finishing line. There is no way to do unnecessary moves or unnecessary play to try to make your teammate gain one position. It will be most probably you will lose one place or more rather than to make one opponent gain a position. Know and report your combinations. So this is the leg where you need to know and to have a person in the team that is always calling the combination to the rest of the team. In that way, everybody knows what they need to do, what is the plan, and how to execute the plan. Of course, in order to execute the plan, you need to know what is the plan, and you need to have a plan. And those things are built up in training and not on the last leg. If you're trying to build up a plan on the last leg, it will be too late for you and your team to achieve anything. And finally, always win your pair. Your pair is the opponent boat that you are controlling. You need to win that pair. If every boat on your team is winning his pair, then most probably you are the winner of the race. What you don't need to do, and absolutely don't need to do, is you don't finish if you are losing. You need to slow down. You need to go back to attack the opponent. You need to wait for the opponents and try to control them, but you need to do something to change the game. What to do, again, is up to the play that you want to execute, and you must act accordingly. On the last bit, don't do unnecessary penalties or don't get unnecessary penalties. And in case of doubts, if you broke a rule or not, do your spin. It's way, way less harmful to do one turn rather than to do two turns. So we've seen a lot of, let's say, generic stuff about the strategy and your tactics, both in the race as a whole and in each leg separately on what you need to consider. And in each one of them, in every leg and in every tactical consideration, we talked about the combinations. So these are some of the winning combinations in a 4-against-4 boat team race. And those combinations is something that you need to know by heart. And you need to know at any time if you have one of those combinations and if not. And if you don't have that combination, you need to know how to get to one of those combinations. So the combinations are divided in two kinds of combinations. There are stable winning combinations and there are unstable winning combinations. So we can see that in more detail in this graphic. So the first column of this graphic shows the stable winning combination. The second column shows unstable winning combination. The third column shows losing combination, and the fourth column shows how to attack in order to get your combination that you want. So the stable combinations is 1, 2, 3 and everything. 1, 2, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4 and everything. Everything 4, 5, 6, 2, 3, 6, 7, and 3, 4, 5, 6. So those combinations are stable. And that means that if you have one of them, you just need to sail fast and go to the finishing line. If you have one of the following combinations that you see in the second column, that I don't want to go through each one of them individually, then your combination is not a stable one. An unstable combination means that it's very easy that something may change and you will lose your match. So if you have one of those combinations, you need to be very careful and very, very aware of what is going in the race course and what is going among your team and the rest of the team members. If you can try and turn an unstable combination to a stable combination, then you shall do it, because this is a winner and this is something that would benefit your team. If you can manage to hold on to the unstable combination until the finishing line, then still you will win the race. What you don't want to have is one of the combination in the third column, which is a losing combination. So if you have one combination, then one of those combinations, then you need to understand what to do in order to change it. Remember that in this kind of team racing, in 4 against 4 boats, there is the possibility of a tie. And in that case, if two teams have the exact same points, which is 18 and 18, then the winner will be the team with no first place. So, for example, having a 3, 4, 5, 6 combination is a winner because it's 18 points and you don't have the first place. So, when you are building your tactics, everything is built around those combinations and how to achieve them. If you try to achieve from a losing combination to a stable combination, most probably you will lose. You will need to build your strategy step by step. So from a losing combination, you will go to an unstable combination, and from there on, if you can, you will move to a stable one. If you cannot, it's still fine because you will be winning the race. But if you start to get greedy, or if you start to want to gain as much as you can, then most probably you will lose. Remember that the same combinations and the same place applies also to the other team. So it's not a secret on what you are doing. What you are trying to do and what you are trying to achieve is common and is known to everyone in the race area. So the better you can achieve it and the more efficient you can achieve it, so more probability you will have on winning your match. So finally, I kept some rules about team racing that are let's say the important rules in team racing that are different from fleet racing. So team racing is held under the rules as those are changed in Appendix D of the rule book. You can find the latest edition of the rule book online on World Sailing website. Most of the rules are the same as in normal fleet racing, except some changes. And here are some changes that I believe are the most important. So the zone is changed to 2 hull lengths. Rule 18.4 is deleted, and for me this is the most important change in the rule book and in the game. A boat not racing shall not interfere with a boat that is racing, and the boat that has finished shall not act to interfere with a boat that has not finished. So these are the principal and the most important changes in Appendix D. There are some significant changes in the, let's say, the traditional rules, the normal rules in 2025, and some of them may affect the game in team racing as well. So one of them is Rule 14. So now you need to consider that a boat shall not only avoid contact, if reasonably possible, but also shall not cause contact between boats or contact between a boat and an object that shall be avoided. And another big game changer is Rule 17. In Rule 17, the last sentence is deleted, making the rule more restrictive for boats. Remember that the boat may be restricted by Rule 17, which is the rule for the rule talking about the proper course, from the moment the other boat passes head to wind, which previously it was not like this. So now you need to be very, very careful whether the rule applies or not, and whether you are limited by this rule not to sail above your proper course. If you want to protest, a boat may protest another boat for a breach of rule of Part 2. The rules of Part 2, as you all know, are the rules that are determining the right of way and which boat has the right of way and which boat has to keep clear, are determining some obligations to boats, and especially to boats with rights of way, are the rules that are determining what applies around marks and around obstructions, and some other rules that apply when you are taking penalties, when you are sailing back to the starting line in order to start, when you were over early, and some other rules. So in order to protest another boat for a breach of one of those rules, you must be involved in an incident in order for your protest to be valid. You cannot protest two other boats that you have seen. You can only protest for an incident when you were not involved if the incident involves contact between boats on the other team. So if two teammates on the opponent team had a contact, you can protest even though you were not involved in the incident. In order to protest, you shall hail protest and clearly display a red flag. It is crucial to display the flag clearly. You may remove the flag after having displayed it. You don't need to keep it up until you no longer racing, as in normal dinghy racing. A boat may take a one-turn penalty when she may have broken a rule of Part 2, or Rule 31, which is touching a mark, or Rule 42, which is propulsion, sculling, pumping, pushing, and all the prohibited actions of Rule 42. You cannot be penalized for breaking a rule of Part 2 when the incident is between boats on the same team and there is no contact. A boat may protest on the water under a rule of Part 2, Rule 31, or Rule 42. And in order to do that, you just need to follow the procedure to hail protest and clearly display the red flag. There are some other penalties that can be given to you directly by the umpires, but those rules and those procedures will be discussed separately at the first meeting of the European Championship. And if you want to get a peek on those rules and on those situations that an umpire may initiate the penalty by themselves, then you may read them in the rule book in Appendix D. Finally, if you want to be well prepared for a European Championship and the level of a European Championship, don't forget to read the Team Racing Call Book. The Team Racing Call Book is a book that, let's say, includes a number of scenarios that are authoritative interpretation of the rules and is telling to the umpires on how to judge each scenario and which rules are applicable and which boat are to be penalized. It's crucial for you to know, especially for the competitors, to know those scenarios in order to understand how the umpires are thinking. So if you want my opinion, it's always a good idea to start the Team Racing Call Book. And I think by having said that, we finished the first introduction to team racing, having given you let's say, the basic information and the fundamentals of what is team racing. And I hope that I will see you in Athens, as I will be there as one of the umpires. And I hope we will have fun and great time during the event.